And here we are with video number 3, the Economic Collapse blog. Michael Snyder, March 26, 2017, posted. He says, thousands of Americans are fleeing the big cities in preparation for the coming American apocalypse. Here's the thing, because I'll try to look back, when I was not quite awake. And I'm going to tell you that was around the year 2005 and 6. I'll include 6 because I started looking at things around that time. But I wasn't awake by the end of 2006 all of a sudden. Like, oh, I'm good to go now. No. It's a long process to figure everything, and I mean everything, you're taught and told is a damn lie. Numbers are fake. The economy's fake. The markets are fake. I mean, it's unbelievable. But had I stumbled on this, thousands of Americans are fleeing the big cities in preparation for the coming American apocalypse. What is he talking about? And why is it just an American apocalypse? Is something going to crash like from space and hit us? Or my mind wouldn't even know. I would have had to click on this and say, what the hell is this? What's this nonsense? American apocalypse. This is America. This is America. There ain't gonna be no apocalypse here. We talking about strong dollar, baby. Get the hell out of here, Michael Snyder. Who are you? That's what I would have said. And I'd have been offended by the title automatically. Just automatically patriotic mindset. America is for, yeah. USA, F yeah. F yeah, USA. So let's see what he's got to say, though. Why are so many people suddenly moving away from major U.S. cities? Recently, I wrote about the mass exodus that is happening out of the state of California. But the truth is, is that what is happening there is just part of a national phenomenon. The populations of some of our largest cities are steadily shrinking, and many experts are completely mystified by this seismic demographic shifts that we are now witnessing. Of course, there are a whole host of reasons why people would want to move away from huge cities such as Chicago, Detroit, Baltimore, and Cleveland. From some families, it simply comes down to wanting a better life for their children. But as you will see below, there are others that believe that things in this country are about to take an apocalyptic turn, and the big cities will not be a place that you want to be when economic collapse, rioting, looting, civil unrest, and crime are all spiraling out of control. According to data just released by the U.S. Census Bureau, Chicago took the prize for the biggest population loss from 2015 to 2016, and it was followed by Detroit and Baltimore. The counties containing Chicago, Detroit, and the independent city of Baltimore were the biggest population losers in the U.S. from 2015 to 2016, according to data released today by the Census Bureau. Cook County, Illinois, where Chicago is the county seat, had the largest population loss of any county in the country from 2015 and 2016. Cook County alone had a domestic migration loss of more than 66,000 people. My friends, that's pretty significant for any county in this country. Now, you might also say, well, what if it was like, San Diego or LA County? Well, that's still a large move in a year, wouldn't you think? Not increasing, decreasing. But this is no giant LA County or anything like that, you know what I mean? Cook County, it's a decent-sized county, but it's not California, you know what I mean? That is a staggering number of people to lose in a single year. Cleveland and Milwaukee were also very high on the list, and some are pointing out that all of these cities are in relatively colder climates and are still struggling economically. So you certainly can't blame people living in these cities for wanting to find somewhere warmer and more economically prosperous to live. But others that are moving away from large cities are deeply concerned about where things are ultimately headed in this country. It doesn't take a genius to see that anger, frustration, and hatred are rising all around us, and many believe that conditions are ripe for civil unrest and civil conflict. In fact, best-selling author Doug Casey believes that we could see soon possibly a civil war that is set off by a financial collapse. Now, I'm going to read what he says. I'm going to continue, but if something pops into the old brain, I got to stop and talk about it. And I know she got it wrong, it looks like. The prophetess, Baba Vanga, the 44th president, will be black, and he'll be the last president because an all-encompassing, consuming economic crisis is going to hit the United States and the world. He will be the last. But we had Trump. And if we didn't have Trump, we would have had Clinton. However, this lady did have an 80-something% rating, accuracy rating, not 100%. Matter of fact, I don't know anybody that's ever had a 100% rating. Just not. Because a lot of these people will tell you things can change. You can change the outcome if you really try. I don't think it's going to, but you could. That's what they'll tell us. So is it possible we have one extra president, not Barack Obama, in the economic apocalypse, so to speak, is still coming regardless? How could that be turned around? You have decades and decades of all these fraudulent numbers, corruption, backdoor deals, stuff cooking the books, massive pension problems. I mean, just stuff that's there, but we don't see it. And it's taking its toll. I don't see, no matter who is in charge, president, no matter who was picked, that they're going to be able to fix this. I've already said that a million times. And again, I'm rooting that Trump can do it because he really wants to. And he's tired of seeing this country go down the tubes. We used to be number one. We used to be at the best of everything. We're not anymore. We don't win anymore. Remember he was saying that. And he's right. But I would say, well, what about the previous countries? The Byzantine Empire, the Roman Empire. It's one of my favorite ones to talk about. Why did they collapse and get someone in there and, they turned it around? And this guy came in, this Donald Trumpicus came in the Roman Empire and fixicus things. No, that's not how history goes. Everything's a cycle, including, by the way, forms of government like democracy. And democracy is the last part of the cycles. Like all the different cycles, democracy's last, then we start over again. Anarchy, king comes, that kind of thing. It could be quite a while out. I'm not going to say it's going to be here in our lifetimes, maybe. I don't even know. But I know there's cycles. And I know when all this crap builds up, all this debt, all these problems we have, all this everything, again, this is not just a housing problem. It's not just an auto loan subprime problem. It's not just guys with condos, can't sell them, pension issue only. Retirees, retirement issue, Social Security only, pension only. I think I might have just mentioned that. It's all of the above. So here you go, Mr. Whoever President. Have fun. Oh, the Trump rally. Okay. And again, I'm hopeful. I'll smoke. We'll get some, whatever the hell this thing is. Take a little hit of hopium. Ooh. Doesn't taste very good. My body's clean. My body's been cleansed of fake stuff, organic guy. And I could tell that was not organic. That was fake hopium. Because my mindset did not change at all. Retail apocalypse, economic apocalypse, it's still on money. Hopium, that was bad stuff. It was not good. Best-selling author Doug Casey wrote, Crisis Investing, at the time when the U.S. political landscape was transitioning from the Carter administration to the Reagan administration. Now, Casey sees a coming crisis that is equal or worse than the Civil War. And Casey explains, in the U.S. right now, there seems to be so much antagonism, it's almost like pre-Civil War. There's actually hatred in the U.S. at this point. It used to be the Republicans and the Democrats could disagree, but they could have a civil conversation about a difference of opinion. Now it's active hatred between the two groups. This is not going to end well. Casey thinks the coming financial collapse will be the trigger. Casey says, it's going to come down eventually. I am worried about that. But we are in a situation where the country seems like it is just before a civil war. It will be more serious than just a financial collapse, and it is likely to be set off by a financial collapse. And again, I also think of John Teeter. I still do. Civil war. The left and right hate each other. There's a problem with the presidential elections that leads to a war. We haven't had a problem with the presidential elections, have we? Other than the super far left liberals are very upset and butthurt right now. We do have an internal war going on with the deep state against this man, so that still doesn't mean there's a problem with the elections, according to John Teeter. But he also did say 2% or so difference in the divergence between his world line and ours, if you're to even believe any of that. But I urge you, and you can even look up Jason Ford, the John Teeter story or whatever, part 1, 2, 3, and 4, where I read you like everything about that. And think about if you read that around the time he left, which was, I think, in very, very early 2001, never to come back, supposedly, right? So say March, April, May, whatever, May, June, July of 2001, you read what I actually read you on those that four-part video series, which again, you can go look right now. It's still available. Just look it up. JSNIP4, YouTube, JSNIP4, John Teeter, part 1, something, you'll see it. And there's 4 parts. You're going to say, man, if I was there and I heard that then, I'd say, what is this guy? What planet is he from? Are you crazy? But I have the benefit of not knowing about it way back then and only finding out it back in, like, I don't even know, 2006, 7, 8, I'm not sure. And even then, I could see a lot of stuff he talked about. Some of it had already happened. And then nowadays, 2017, it's a long time later. I still say, man, there's still everything he talked about. Man, we got all these things he talked about. These are all things we're dealing with. Like most of it, we're dealing with right now. So, anyways, I can't shake that one off for some reason. The teeter stuff. Without a doubt, our financial system is certainly primed for a financial collapse. And when things get really, really bad in this country, how will people respond? Many have decided that they want to get away from the major population centers before we find out the answer to that question. For example, not too long ago, the Chicago Tribune ran a story about why so many preppers are moving to the Great Northwest. One of the individuals profiled was an ex-resident of California named Trevor Treller, who moved up to North Idaho prior to the recent election. Trevor Treller, 44, who carries a small Smith & Wesson pistol on his hip, moved to North Idaho last year from Long Beach, California, and recently paid a little less than $400,000 for a defensible 3-bedroom house on 5 wooded acres. Treller, a sommelier at a local resort, said Obama was a key factor in his decision. He said that the president had inflamed racial tensions in America, presided over a dangerous expansion of the national debt, been hostile to Second Amendment rights, and failed to curtail the nuclear ambitions of North Korea and Iran. Treller said any one of those factors could lead to crippling chaos, so he and his wife have laid in food, weapons, and ammunition and are installing an iron gate across their long gravel driveway. Okay. Of course, it isn't just ordinary Americans such as Treller that are deeply concerned about what's coming. Less than a week ago, CNN ran an article entitled Billionaire Bunkers, How the 1% Are Preparing for the Apocalypse. And it went on to say that many of the world's elite, including hedge fund managers, sports stars, and tech executives, such as Bill Gates is rumored to have a bunker at all of his properties, have chosen to design their own secret shelters to house their families and staff. Gary Lynch, general manager of Texas-based Rising S Company, says 2016 sales for their custom high-end underground bunkers grew 700% from just a year earlier in 2015. So that was in 2016. While overall sales have grown 300% since the November U.S. presidential election alone. This is a trend, my friends. So why are Bill Gates and his billionaire friends so interested in buying luxury survival bunkers if everything's going to be just fine? And especially these guys. You guys got all the money in the world. You can withstand anything. You could not do a thing the rest of your life, the rest of your kids' life, the rest of your kids' life, the kids, on down with the amount of money you guys have. You can live anywhere. You've got numerous houses. What's the big deal? The big deal is they aren't concerned about themselves. They're concerned about you. And what I like to call some of the other people that they're really concerned about, riffraff. If you haven't heard from a couple of my riffraff stories in recent times, neighbors, Section 8, HUD, coming in, coming out, move in, move out. But anyways, that's why they're concerned. So let's move out somewhere in the middle of nowhere and let's put survival bunkers in all of our properties in case we're stuck there. Why are these people concerned? What are you guys concerned about? You have all the money in the world. You have nothing to worry about. You could buy the police, local security, can't you? But they're moving far out. Isn't that amazing? Because they know what's coming. They know the day's almost, nigh. And when it all goes down, people are going to be really, really pissed off. It was just 8 years ago. We just did this. We just did this. What the F, man? You idiot. You went back in the market. You decide to start flipping houses again. Do you not hear that? Well, I turn on the news. I don't hear anything. Everything's fine. Well, when you say you turn on the news, what does that mean? Like what? Like the television? Yeah. Oh, so you're probably talking like CNN, MSNBC, that kind of stuff? Yes. Oh, you poor, poor, poor soul. You poor soul. That's your problem. So if you're upset, find out whoever that was telling you on the news and go do whatever you want to them. But just an FYI, they've probably already left, maybe outside the country, but if not, they're in some far part of the country you don't know about in their bunker now. They've got paid millions of dollars to be on that TV show to tell suckers like you to get back in that market. Can never go down. It just keeps going up. Housing, flip it, yes. Anyways. So why are Bill Gates and his billionaire friends just so interested in buying survival luxury bunkers if everything's going to be just fine? Can someone explain that one to me? Everywhere you look, retail stores are closing and economic warning signs are flashing red, but those that sell survival bunkers to the elite are making tremendous amounts of money. And I certainly wish that I could afford one of these survival bunkers because they sound quite appealing. One of the shelters, Vivos X Point, is near the Black Hills of South Dakota and consists of 575 military bunkers that served as an Army munitions depot until 1967, presently being converted into a facility that will accommodate about 5,000 people. The interiors of each bunker are outfitted by the owners at a cost of between $25K to $200K each. The price depends on whether they want a minimalist space or a home with high-end finishes. The compound itself will be equipped with all the comforts of a small town, including a community theater, classrooms, hydroponic gardens, medical clinic, spa, and a gym. You know, a couple little things here and there. These elitists plan to ride out the coming American apocalypse in style, while the world above them is literally going insane. Meanwhile, most of the general population continues to be completely oblivious to what is about to happen to them. And so the events that are coming will close upon them suddenly like a trap, and there will be no escape. Now, I know this does sound a bit, in all fairness, a little bit gloomy and doomy. Is it going to be super bad? People on the street, there's no telling. But what do we know? Every other great, or not even great, just any other depression, market crash, etc., didn't bring upon the economic apocalypse here. However, you could easily say, well, then why is it happening in Venezuela? Now Brazil's in big trouble, and it's happened in some other countries. Well, it's actually there. People are doing it. It's already active. But our history doesn't really show that here. Well, that's because we got the whole world involved in using our dollar. So the dollar can remain strong. We manipulate all the markets. So we make sure everything's good for us, America. We Americans get to ride the coattails of our shadow government that does those things. But they do those things with a massive cost at the end of the cycle. Implosion of everything. So I don't think this will just be a 1929 issue, 1987 stock market crash, or we're going to jack up interest rates to 18, 19, 20%, circa 1981 or whatever that was, Greenspan. We've got pension systems, they're going to implode. Stock market, massively overpriced, it has to implode. Housing, again, retail apocalypse, housing. Basically everything, when I use the word finance or anything that asset, those kind of words, all of it has a problem. It's bubble, accounting gimmicks, banks completely insolvent, cooking the books. This is an everything cycle. Cycle of cycles is what we're talking about, which is why I do think it could be worse than we might think. And what he's talking about, certainly the elite are actively preparing for it. And even if it just becomes just in case, the point is they're doing it. So they're seeing things that tells them there's a probability high enough that I'm concerned. What that probability is, I don't know, but it's enough to concern them. So they're going out buying. They're going shopping. And they, being the elite, shop in style, if you know what I mean. And again, Idaho, I've heard that, where the Clintons are, and Arkansas, Little Rock area, that's another place the club likes to go. But, you and I, we're going to have to fend for ourselves, and here I am. You think I have riffraff problems now? There's an area that's only a few miles from here, known as 78th Street, because there's a street called 78th Street. But that's kind of the center point of super duper duper riffraff, period. ghetto-ish type of stuff. But there's housing back there. Not like ghettos, but there's housing. But the same kind of ghetto lifestyle is there in a large area. So yeah, I'm only a few miles from where I'm at right now. Not a good place to be, because where is riffraff going to go? They're going to only go out as far as they have to go out to loot, take stuff, steal, whatever, and then go back. They're not going to go farther out, because that's further out they get to go. The longer they have to go to get back home, the more of a chance they could get caught by the cops or something. But if they can just barely go outside their area, boop, 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 do some stuff, come back, in and out. Now, of course, I'm renting here, so I'm not stuck here. But I definitely would like to be a bit out in the country, even in Florida, to where hopefully I wouldn't have to deal with some of that stuff. But anyways, this article is worth talking about. Again, with the elite, they're kind of showing us, hey, we're doing it. Sales are up. Ain't no recession here. Ain't no condo flipping problem here at the bunker facility company. What was the numbers? 300 and 700. Gary Lynch, general manager of Texas-based Rising S Company, says 2016 sales for their custom high-end underground bunkers grew 700%, 7 times from just 2015 compared to 2015. And overall sales have grown 3 times, 300%, since November of last year, a few months ago. That's the business. Boy, things are looking good there, aren't they? Anyways, can't wait to see how this week goes. What other shenanigans we're going to find to happen in government, spying, not spying, wires were tapped. Were your wires tapped? We did not physically have wires tapped at Trump. Did you surveil him? Well, no one wanted to ask that. Not until it was too late, but they finally did. And sure enough, well, yeah, he was incidentally captured. Love that. Love that term, incidental. It was accidental, incidental. Can't wait to see where it goes this week. Take care.